Hello students, welcome to Sri Jayendra's Ring Zone classes. I am your friend and mentor for the coming classes with respect to physics. This is lecture number 18 of a unit electric charges and fields. As you know that we are discussing the questions that has been asked in previous year. So this is the fourth and final session of the previous year asked questions. So I hope you have gone through the complete unit as well as you have gone through the class notes as well as you have done a lot practice before attending these questions. So let's begin. Before we start, one more request is that please take your pen and paper, and you are not just observing these videos but you are doing with me or simultaneously on the same time. Please, it's a request. Then only you will have a certain confidence and you will come to know that how physics numericals can be done. So let's begin with question. A first question. Go through the data. What they have given. They have told that a force F is acting between two charges when they are placed in air. If the space between them is completely filled with the medium having a dielectric constant K is equals to 4, then the force will be. Now you might know this, that this is first charge, let's say this is second charge Q2, and the separation between this two is R. Then force acting between these two charges, it's K Q1 Q2 divide by square of the distance between these two. This is FR, force between two charged particles when they are placed in air. Now let's say this is Q1, this is Q2, the same charges are there, but now a separation is same. But let's say this region is replaced, and it is replaced by a dielectric medium having a dielectric constant of 4. So now force in this medium would be F of air divided by K. In this case K is equals to 4, so it is F divided by 4. Yes, did you remember this? Are you sure? Well done, a great beginning. Let's move to the next question. Next question, go through it very carefully. What they have given, what they have given an electron and proton are sent into an electric field. Here they have said only the electric field, that means both have been passed through a same electric field. The ratio of the force experienced by them, I need to find out the force experienced by this electron and by the proton. So what I know is that force acting as Q multiplied by E. Now as I know that electric field will be the same in both the cases, because they have said that they have been sent to an electric field. Now what about the charges? Charge of an electron, let's mention it as an Q. By the way, what is it? Yes, you are right. It's a 1.6 into 10 to the power minus of 19 coulomb. Charge of an proton, yes, it is a plus Q. If I consider as an electron, it is a minus Q. Then magnitude wise, even this would be the same, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus of 19 coulomb. So force on electron to the force on proton would be equals to Q, or charge of an electron, multiplied by electric field divided by charge of an proton multiplied by electric field. As charge of an electron and charge of a proton, both are same, so this would be the 1:1. Are you clear with this? Are you? But let me add something, that let us suppose we have four particles. This four particles generally asked in examinations. One is the proton. Let's say this is the charge and this is the mass. Let's assume that charge of a proton would be a Q and mass of a proton would be an M. Let's assume it. Then you have one more particle, that is what we call as a deuteron. Did you remember this? Yes, it is having a charge of Q. It is having a charge of 2 and mass of 2m. Yes, if you remember this, it is a 1h2. Yes. One more, it's a tritium. Its charge would be q and mass would be a 3m. You might recall this as an 1h3. And alpha particle or helium, that charge would be at twice of q and mass would be the 4m. So you need to remember this four people. You need to remember them because they can ask the same questions with this people also. Let's assume that they have given that an electron and an alpha particle are sent into an electric field. The ratio of forces experienced by them is, and so on. Yes, so please remember this people because this are the somehow of famous people, and the certain questions are there based on this people only, they have asked the questions. So please do remember these things, and let's move to the next question. You are doing good, well done, keep going and keep it fast. Next question, go behind it, do fast. An electron is given, even a mass of an electron is given, it is sent to an electric field of intensity, that means electric field is given, the acceleration is produced is asked. Now what I know is that electron having a force that is a q into e, and I can write acceleration of an acceleration due to this force, it is equals to mass into a acceleration. So I can equate this to, that is a qe, that should be is equals to ma. Here I am interested in the acceleration, so what I can do is I can replace my a with qe by m. I can replace the a with qe by m. Look at this, I have done the same thing. I have put up a value. That means the electric field, it is a 9.1 into 10 to the power 6. Charge of an electron, it is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, and divide by the mass. When I solve this, I found this. So this would be the answer. I understand that this calculation takes a time, but you should be clear with this concept. But you should be very very clear with this concept. Okay, shall I add something to this question? Let's say suppose they will say that an electron started from rest and passed through electric field E. Find out first velocity after time t, and second distance traveled by an electron in time t. Now here I have not given any value because I want to check the concept only. So what you will do, tell me what you will do. I'm sure that by giving a data you will definitely solve this. You can put up a value and solve it, I'm sure for this. I want to just to judge the concept. So let's begin. Here they have given that an electron started from rest, that means u is equals to 0. I need to find out the velocity after time t, so I can write like this: v is equals to u plus at. While u is 0, a would be equals to qe by m into t. This is your velocity. Yes. Now distance traveled by an electron in time t, even this has been asked. So what you can do is you can write like this: x is equals to ut plus half at square. U would be 0 as they have told us, so this should be half into a into t square, and while I replace the a, it should be qe by m into t square. This is equals to x. Yes, do you understand these things? Are you sure? Great. Shall we move to the next question? Are you ready? Let's check. A proton is there which is having a mass of m and charge of e. E is released from rest. Yes, this is u equals to 0. In a uniform electric field of strength E, the time taken by it to travel a distance d in the field. Yes, what you require a time t so that your particle can travel a distance d. So what can I do? Can I write like this? It's an x is equals to ut plus half at square. My x would be the d. U is 0 plus half. Now I know that I can replace the a with qe by m into t square. So are you done with this? Yes. Now, now t square should be is equals to 2 multiplied by m multiplied by t divided by q into e. Did I make it correct? Yes. So time would be under root of 2mt divided by q multiplied by e. Yes, this would be the correct answer. Which option? Yes, 2md. It's a 2dm divided by e into e because they have put up for an charge, they have put up an e. So are you done with this? Are you done with this? Yes. Shall I add something? Do I? Okay, let's look. If they have asked that find out velocity of an electron when it has traveled distance d. It is the same question. I'm just adding the things. Find out velocity of an electron when it has traveled distance d. Now what all they have given is that u were 0, electric field were given, it is an symbolically it is e only, and distance that this people have given is t, and what I need to find out, I need to find out the velocity. So what can I do? Yes, I can write like this. It's a v square should be is equals to u square plus 2ax. Here u is 0, so put it as in 0. 2 multiplied by a should be equals to qe by m multiplied by distance x, that is given as in t. So this is v square. So what they have given is v should be is equals to root of 2 multiplied by qe divided by m into t. This is the velocity. Yes, are you sure? What was your answer? Is it same? Is it same? Great. Let's look at the next question. Go through this very carefully. A very interesting question. What they have given is two infinitely long parallel wires having a linear charge density of lambda 1 and lambda 2 respectively are placed at a distance r meter apart. The force per unit length on either of the wire will be. Yes. Now tell me, what can we do with this? This is first wire, this is second wire. Let's say this is lambda 1, something like this. This is lambda 2. Now tell me the concept. What can you do? What can you do with this? The distance is r. The distance is r. What can you do with this? Yes. Yes. You are right. It's F is equals to Q into E. When we were discussing this kind of questions in class, in their lectures, we were just discussing that charge will be mine while electric field will be of some other. Electric field will be of some other. So charge will be mine and electric field will be of some other. So let's find out force on the lambda 2 wire. Force on the lambda 2 wire. So let's do this very quickly. So this is lambda 1, this is lambda 2, their separation is r, and you need to find out force on the lambda 2. So this is F is equals to Q into E. Force will be mine. So let's say this charge is Q2, this charge is Q1. So this is Q2 multiplied by electric field due to first wire. Electric field will be first wire, would be. It is an infinitely long positive linear charge density. So its electric field will be 2k lambda divided by r. Now this is lambda 1. So what I can do is this is equals to 2 into k multiplied by lambda 1 multiplied by q2 divided by r. This is force what I am getting. But let's look at the options. What they want is they want a lambda 1 lambda 2 both, and what they want is they require a force per unit length. So if I replace this charge, I know that lambda 2 would be equals to q2 divided by l. So if I replace a q2, this should be is equals to lambda 2 into l. So that should be F is equals to 2 multiplied by k multiplied by lambda 1 multiplied by q2. It is a lambda 2 into l divided by r. So this force per unit length, it would be 2 into k multiplied by lambda 1 multiplied by lambda 2 divided by r. This is force per unit length. That's it. What was your answer? Was it same? Yes, you did a very good question. Congratulations. And let's move to the next question. Do it fast. Let's have a look. What is given? The given data is that electric field is given in a region of phi I plus 2j. That means electric field E should be is equals to phi I plus 2j cap. Yes, the electric flux due to this field through an area of 2 meter square lying in the YZ plane. So this should be something like this. This is Y plane, this is Z plane, and this plate is given, and their area vector is given as a 2 meter square. Now what about its direction? Yes, this is in YZ plane, so area vector would be in I cap. We were discussing that it must be perpendicular and moving outward to the surface, so it must be in an I cap. So now I want to find out the flux. So flux would be is equals to, it is E dot A, it would be a phi I plus 2j multiplied by, that means I'm going to have a dot product of 2I cap. So this would be phi I into 2I, it's a 10, plus 2j cap multiplied by 2I cap, it's a 0. So this is 10 Gauss. It would be the answer. Very easy. Yes, well done. Let's move to the next. You find this kind of session interesting? Are you? Let's look at the next question. Yes, again a very good and logical question is there. Handle it carefully. What they have given is a long string with a charge of lambda per unit length passes through an imaginary cube of age a. What they want is maximum flux. Focus on this. Maximum flux of the electric field through the cube will be. What will you do? What will you do with this? Let's understand this. This is cube having side of A. Now I know that flux is equals to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Now what I want is, I want that my flux should be maximum. What I want is, I require that my flux should be maximum. How it can be maximum? This depends on the Q enclosed only. That my flux depends on the Q enclosed only. So it would be maximum if Q enclosed is maximum. Now how Q enclosed can be maximum? If I choose, I know that lambda is equals to Q by L, and Q should be equals to lambda into L. So lambda is fixed, but I have a ability to choose the L. So if my L is maximum, my charge will be a maximum. Now in a cube, how should I arrange my wire so that it could have a maximum length? Yes, if I arrange my wire in this manner, yes, you understand this. This is root 3a. This dimension is of root 3a that you told as an body diagonal. Yes, yes, absolutely right. So if I arrange my line charge according to this, something like this, then my flux would be is equals to lambda into root of 3a divided by epsilon naught, and this would be the answer. Got it? Fourth is the answer. Yes. Let's move to the next question. Oh, again cube, but this is something different. Let's have a look. What they have given is, a cube is arranged such that its length, breadth and height are along xyz direction. One of its corner is situated at the origin, okay, and length of the each side of cube is 25 centimeter. The components of electric field, yes, look at this, they have a different components on different directions. So first let's look about the Ex, that means electric field in the x direction. It is a 400 root of x Newton per coulomb. Ey, it is 0. Ez, it is a 0 respectively. What you need to find out, you need that total flux coming out of the cube will be. So situation is something like this. Let's say this is origin and this is cube. Yes, this is cube. So let's begin with this. You need to find out the total flux. As electric field in y and z are 0, so flux through this component will be an always a 0. Flux through this component will be always 0. One more thing, even I make an area vector with them, they will make a 90-degree between an electric field and area vector, so that flux would be a 0. But electric field is there in x direction, it is 400 into root of x. So electric field is in this direction, something like this. This is the direction of electric field. So if I consider this phase, this as a first, this as a second, this two have a certain chances to contribute to the flux. But one thing is, this is first phase, he has Ex is equals to, this is electric field for first phase, it is 400 multiplied by root of 0 because it is at origin. So again this is 0. So only the electric field can be contributed by this phase only. None of the other phase can contribute to the electric field. First tell me, did you understand this much of amount of things? Are you sure? Yes. So if sure, let's move on. So my electric field will look like this. It's a 400 into root x, and my x would be a 25 centimeter. This is of 25 as given in the data. So if I put a value, if I simply put a value, as it is a 25 centimeter, so I convert this to an I cap. I have solved this. This is the electric field. It's a 200 Newton per Coulomb in I cap. This is the area vector. Remember that this is centimeter. So when area of centimeter square is being converted to a meter square, it is 10 to the power minus 4, not a 10 to the power minus 2. Many a times you made this mistake. Please beware of this. So if I make an area, if I make a square of this, it's 625 into 10 to the power minus 4, and if I solve this, it would be this. Yes, I'm sure for the calculation that you will do it, but please listen and please understand this concept very well, that at one of the phase it is having a zero electric field, and at another phase it is having an electric field that is of 400 multiplied by root 25 centimeter. So will you be able to solve this kind of question? Are you sure? Let's move to the next question. What is given? What is given? Look at this. What they have given is an electric dipole is formed by two particles fixed at the ends of a light, they have said light, rigid rod of length L. The mass of each particle is m, and charges are minus q and plus q. And this system is suspended by a torsionless thread in an electric field of intensity such that dipole axis is parallel to the field. If it is slightly displaced, the frequency of angular motion is. Okay, so let's have a rough sketch of it. This could be the situation. Let us suppose this is minus q, this is plus q. This is the direction of dipole moment, and this would be the direction of electric field. And let's say you have been twisted somehow. If you have been twisted somehow, then it will oscillate like this and like this, and this is what you require. You require a frequency of its angular momentum, or sorry, frequency of angular motion. So do you remember the time period of this? Do you? If not, let's look. It would be t is equals to 2 pi under root of I divided by p into e. This is the angular, this is the time period of angular SHM. Here you require a frequency, so this is 1 by f. So f is equals to 1 by 2 pi under root of p into e divided by I. Yes, do you understand up to this? Now look at the options. In your options you cannot see p. Yes, even you are not having anywhere I. So I need to replace the p and I need to replace the I. It's so how can I replace the p? It is dipole moment. It would be a q into length multiplied by electric field divided by I. It's a moment of inertia. I should write it as an m into L square. A moment of inertia was the mass multiplied by perpendicular or square of the perpendicular distance. So this LL would be a gone, and the remaining term would be equals to 2 pi under root of q into e divided by m into L. This is the frequency. So this would be your correct answer. Yes. What was yours? Is it same? Are you sure? Great. Let's move to the next question. What they have given: 8 dipoles of charges of magnitude E are placed inside a cube. The total electric flux coming out of the cube. If you remember, it is the same question or same type of question which we have done in our classes too. That when, let us say, even one of the dipole is placed, it would be a minus q, it would be a plus q. So this net charge would be a 0. What is flux? It's a q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Now you can arrange as many dipole you wish. That will contribute net charge as a always a 0. If net charge is 0, flux would be a 0. Yes, this is a question of 10 to 12 seconds. You must do this within this amount of time only. Yes, and this is the question that has been asked in J mains in 2003 or 4 something. But this is the question. This all are the question that have been asked by somewhere in certain competitive examinations. So you are doing good. Well done. Let's be a little faster. Next, go through the data. Go through the data. What all they have given. They have given that the surface charge densities of a spherical conductor is sigma 1 and the electric field on its surface is E1, and the surface charge density of an infinite cylindrical conductor is sigma 2 and the electric field on its surface is E2. Now which of the following relations can be correct? Now you must know that for an spherical conductor, electric field on its surface can be given as E1 is equals to sigma 1 by epsilon naught and E2 would be equals to sigma 2 by epsilon naught. So let's take a ratio of this. This is E1 by E2 is equals to sigma 1 by sigma 2 because epsilon naught has been cut. So if I multiply this, it should look like E1 into sigma 2 should be is equals to E2 into sigma 1. And this is the relation. That is what I am looking for. So this would be the correct answer. Again, less than 1 minute. Yes, well done. You did a great job. Moving to the next question. What is given? Go through this. This is the same question that we have done previously in this series only. A series of previous year asked questions. What is given? Look at this. What they have given is inward and outward electric flux for a closed surface in a units of this are respectively this and this. You need to find out the total charge inside the surface. So whatever the inward flux is there, it is due to a minus of charge, and whatever the outward flux is there, it is due to a plus q charges. Now what I want that total charge. So flux is equals to q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. So q enclosed divided by equals to phi multiplied by epsilon naught. Now there are certain things due to a positive charge and there are other due to a negative charge. So what I need to write is that minus of 8 into 10 to the power 3 because this is inward, and plus 4 into 10 to the power 3 multiplied by epsilon naught. So this is minus 8 plus 4, it is minus of 4 into 10 to the power 3 into epsilon naught. This would be the answer. What was yours? Is it same? Are you serious? Great work. Let's move to the next question, and you are doing seriously good. Well done. Keep it up. Let's move to the next question. Suppose they have given this, that two particles each of mass m and they are having a charge q are separated by some distance. If they are in equilibrium, that means a net force acting on this r0 under mutual gravitational and electrostatic force, then you require to find out q is to m is of the order of. So you are having a two forces. One is the gravitational force. What I will write for it? It's a g into m square by r square. I am having one more force. It's an electrostatic force. It is a kq square by r square. As this both charges are of same polarity, that means they both are a positive charges. So they will attract each other when I'm talking about the gravitational force, because it is always attractive in nature. But when I'm talking about the repulsive force, when I'm talking about the electrostatic force, it would be a repulsive. And as the data said, it is in equilibrium. That means total amount of attractive force must be equal to total amount of repulsive force. So I need to compare this to gm square by r square should be is equals to kq square by r square. This r square would be a gone. And next I need to find out this. I will put up a value. I know the g, it's a 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. I know the K, it is a 9 into 10 to the power 9, and if I take a ratio of this 2, this would be this charge to the mass. This is even called as a specific charge. This is even called as a specific charge. So sometimes they may ask that find out the value of a specific charge. You must know this. Are you sure? Will you able to handle this? Are you? Great. Let's move to the next question. What they have given is, they have given a loop of diameter d. A loop of diameter d is rotated in a uniform electric field until the position of yes, maximum electric flux is found. They are rotating it so that they are having a position of maximum electric flux is required. The flux in this position is measured to be phi. Yes. What is the electric field strength? Yes. So what I can write is flux is equals to E into A into cos. What I can write is flux is equals to E into A into cos theta. Now I have a freedom to change the theta, but I require a certain position where I should have a flux as a maximum. So flux could be only maximum when theta would be a 0 degree. So I did the same thing. Theta is 0. And when theta is 0, it's in cos 0 degree. Cos 0 degree, it's a 1. So phi is equals to E dot A. It's an E multiplied by pi d square by 4. So if I find out the E, it is equals to 4 phi by pi d square. So this is my answer. Yes. Can you able to solve this? Do you? Are you sure? Let's move to the next question. A very good question. Very good question. Let's have a look. What they have given. What they have given is a particle of mass m and charge q is located midway between two fixed charge particles, each having a charge of plus q and at a distance of 2l apart. Assuming that the middle charge moves along the line joining the fixed charges, you need to find out the frequency of oscillations when it is displaced slightly. So did you understand the question? So do one thing, make a rough sketch of it, that what would be the situation. Or look at this. Here one of the charges there, it is a plus q. Here another charge is there, it is a plus q. The separation between this charge and this charge, it is a 2l. This is a midpoint where we have put up another charge. Let's say suppose I am displacing this charge by a certain distance x. If it has been displaced, then the distance of this charge from this q would be an l plus x, but distance of this charge would be l minus x for this. So if I need to find out the net force, then I must write that F is equals to F1 minus F2. Yes. Are you sure? Why? Because this is plus q, this is plus q, this charge will repel this in this direction. Even this is plus q, this is plus q, this charge will repel this in this direction. As both the forces are in opposite direction, I must subtract it. And when I subtract it, I am having a situation something like this. It's a kq square into bracket 1 by l minus x whole square minus of 1 by l plus x whole square. So if I just solve this, it should look like something like this. It's a q square by k, it's a kq square, sorry, multiplied by 4lx divided by l square minus x square whole square, because I have taken LCM, multiplied this term here, and l minus x and l plus x will give me a l square minus x square. So if I solve this later, what I can have is this kind of term. It's an F is equals to q square divided by pi into epsilon naught into l cube into x. So what I can do is I can compare this with this relation. This is the relation for which SHM is required. So if I compare this relation with this relation, k would be is equals to K would be is equals to Q square divided by pi epsilon naught into LQ. Now I know that K would be equals to m omega square, and while I write m omega square, what do I require? I require a frequency. I can also write this as an m multiplied by 4 pi square f square. So this can be compared as m multiplied by 4 pi square f square should be is equals to q square divided by pi epsilon naught LQ. And from this you can find out the frequency. Yes, yes, a new and a fresh question, a very good question. Yes, will you be able to solve this kind of question now onwards? Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, let's move to the next question very quickly. What they have given is, it's two large parallel plates charged uniformly with surface charge density and located as shown in the figure. Which one of the following graphs shows the variation of electric field along a line which is perpendicular to the planes as one moves from A to B? That means you need to move from this to this. That means if you remember, we segregate this area into certain regions, regions 1, region 2, region 3, and you need to move in region 2 and you need to plot the situation. So let's look. This is region 2. You are going to move from plus sigma to minus sigma. Here this is plus sigma, so direction of electric field will be radially outward, so this is electric field. And here it is in minus sigma, so direction of electric field will be towards the plate, so this is E. Here direction due to both the electric fields are equal, and with direction due to both the electric fields are equal, this is sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught, which is a sigma by epsilon naught. Sigma plus sigma, 2 sigma, and 2 would be a cancel out. So here I found that easily, that this electric field is uniform. So if I closely observe this four graphs, first, second, third and fourth, I can find it out that my answer should be a second graph. So have you done up till now? Are you sure? Okay, so let's wind it down. This is the last and final lecture of this unit, electric charges and fields. So please, I request you that do as many questions as possible by you. Do as many questions as possible, because practice makes you perfect for electric charges and fields. So let's sign off here. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day. Take care.